Hello, fabulous superstar Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boys, at a very special time. And it truly is so special now. Powerful energies are with us as we begin the month right out of the gate. We have got a new moon on the 1st of November. Part of what makes this new moon so special is that it is speaking in supreme harmony with Saturn. That brings with it an energy of groundedness, and the new things that begin now have the potential to grow and to last a really long time to come. For you, it is a new moon taking place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with what you want in your heart of heart in every area of life. Now, that can include creative fulfillment. It can include the children in your life. It can include a sense of fun, a sense of happiness, and what it is that makes your heart feel alight. It can include love as well, though we'll talk about that just a little later. But suffice it to say, this can speak to windfalls and winnings and gambling. However, Saturn isn't an energy of wild gain. Saturn is an energy that says you get what you earn. And in this case, yes, the blessings are there, but they will be rooted in what it is that you have earned over a period of time already that now lend themselves to this new beginning. And so, yeah, you may want to buy a lottery ticket, but it should be something that is rooted in maybe a charity that's been around for a really, really long time. And you always want to stay in an energy of prosperity. So I always say, don't bet the farm, right? It should be like, if $1 is no big deal to you, then just spend $1 and have that to start the month with. But I think a much more likely scenario is that there is going to be some sense of you making a gain, some sense of a windfall, some sense of you feeling very fortunate, but it's going to be rooted in what you do well, what you already know. Saturn is the ruling planet of your opposite sign, and so someone you've aligned with in the past might be part of facilitating this sense of you being able to take a shot towards something that your heart really wants, whether that's professionally or personally, as part of aligning with what it is ultimately that you feel is going to be that much more fulfilling. New chapters with the children in your life can happen now. But again, there's a lot of stability here, which I really like, that helps you to feel strong in those relationships. Or it could just be you feeling like a big kid and seeing just how much grounding that provides you. And that might be one of the best gifts of all of this time. Now, navigating further, the 15th of the month is when we have this month's full moon, and it is big. It is an important energy that we have here, not just in and of itself, though itself it's important, but everything happening around it. So we have this full moon happening in a friendship part of your sky. And this is friendships, yes, but it's also group alliances, groups you're connected with, group involvement, social events are covered here. Now, this is also a part of the sky for you that has to do with things like retirement, for example. And so that's more correlated towards an understanding of a new beginning. And new moons bring with them a new beginning. The most likely new beginning I'm seeing here is being introduced to new people or fresh starts with certain people who are friends, or invitations to join a group personally or professionally. Navigating further, on the 15th of the month, we will have this month's full moon. And this is a very big energy. It is a surprise a minute. It is twists and turns, but ultimately a lot of strength and positive change. The full moon is happening in a friendship part of your sky. It's about getting very quickly honest about the role of a friend or a group participation that you're in. And you're deciding here who stays and who goes in key ways. If you are attending social events right around the 15th of the month, well, they are going to go in directions that you really didn't expect. Mercury is retrograde a little bit later in the month. So yeah, you could run into some work-related friends. I'll talk about that in just a bit, that you were, working with way before. But outside of that, yeah, This is a shock a minute where it comes to how people behave and whom you might run into now where it comes to those friendship and professional group connections that you have. Here's the thing though. This full moon is hand in hand with Uranus. That's the wild card factor. That says it's not going to be whatever you think it is. That's okay. We have Neptune speaking in harmony with this full moon, and that brings with it inspiration and happiness, a sense of, wow, this is happening. This is amazing. That kind of energy. And then we've got Pluto in the last moments of your opposite sign, connecting in supreme harmony here. So whatever happens, it's like you understand what to focus on and you see how this is a really good thing, how much can change deeply. And if it is opportunity that comes your way as a result of who you know, boy, are you just honing in, zoning in on the direction you want to go, and you move yourself towards feeling gains as a result of that focus you experience. Who you know, whether it's friendship, whether it's people you've partnered with before, is going to be a lot more important at this full moon than what you know as part of the gains that you could be making at this time. Here's the thing though, hours before that full moon, literal hours before, Saturn goes direct. And Saturn is going direct in a part of the sky for you that is decidedly worldly. It has to do with connecting with the larger world, what you believe about the world. Things like long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, and legal matters. If there's been any stalling on those fronts, it may feel like things start to move forward under the light of the full moon, thanks to Saturn moving forward. But it's also possible that you are seeing your own beliefs differently in some way, from a more grounded perspective than you had before. And that might be part of the awakening that you have now. What a friend believes could be part of what influences you. They surprise you, but it helps you to get clear in a way that helps you to feel strong. And that's the blessing of this time. Whether or not you believe anything that anyone else does, you're seeing yourself differently as a result. That's the blessing. And just 4 days after that full moon, Pluto moves signs, changes signs, moves into a profound part of your sky. But perhaps more importantly, moves out of your opposite sign where you've had Pluto since 2008, you've had Pluto in one way or another in your opposite sign, and it has transformed your understanding of partnerships of all kinds, including business partnerships as well. Whatever you've learned, it's almost like you reach this understanding, this crescendo under the light of the full moon, and you understand how you're going to be different with people going forward from here. And then you move forward. Pluto moves into a part of the sky for you that has to do with profound change, truth, transformation, regeneration. And it has to do with your understanding of the power of wealth and the power of money, and what power you're going to give it in your life, and just so much more. I know I've been talking about this a lot over the last few years for you. I mean, the Decade Ahead video, I spoke about this move for your sign. That was like 5-6 years ago. But I'll continue to talk about this energy, of course, because this is the beginning in some ways of a 20-year journey. You got a little bit of a taste of it earlier this year and a very tiny taste of it in 2023. But now here you are, ready to dive into some truth that changes you, a rebirth that you are about to engage with over the coming years. Now, finally, the 25th of the month is when Mercury goes retrograde in a work-related part of your sky. I touched on this already, but really it's going to bring people that you worked with before, whether they were clients, customers, coworkers, or immediate supervisors. They just pop up out of nowhere. Mercury has to do with messages. It has to do with transportation. So in particular, in these particular modes that you might find yourself in, you are more likely to run into these types of people when you least expect it. Now, Mercury does go in shadow on November the 5th. The retrograde, as I mentioned, takes place late this month, and then is going to go direct in the middle of December, and at the very beginning of January of a new year will leave shadow. And it might be a good idea for you to consider any work-related opportunities that come up now. They may not be what you think they are. Sometimes that's okay, like your role just changes. You're hired for one thing, it becomes something else. But sometimes it is that you really misunderstood. You really thought it was something else than it actually was. But for all that, we have here energies that speak to you looking at how you're living your day to day life, maybe bringing some old habits back in that worked for you in the past. You want to try them again and see if they stick this time. And if there was work that you did in the past as well, you might be looking at actually bringing those skills forward in some way, even if it's just for this period of time, as part of navigating this larger Mercury retrograde season. Now, where it comes to matters of love, Pluto, let's talk about Pluto, right? I think that's going to be a big deal. And the new moon at the start of the month is going to be a big deal. So the new moon, because the new moon is in that heart-oriented part of the sky, that has to do with romance and flirtation, in addition to what I mentioned. But Pluto in the partnership part of your sky, I think you're going to realize how far you've come, how much you've changed, what has changed for you, what you are wanting in partnership, and how it is that now you are going to align with it that much more. Having Pluto move through your opposite sign had its moments where it must have been quite challenging. I do want to be, again, straightforward with you. That's a tough one, especially those moments when you had the exact opposition playing out. And that would have represented, like, since 2008, there would have been at least a period there between 3 to 5 years that might have held special intensity for you. And the good thing is, once it is that Pluto leaves your opposite sign this month, you're not going to experience this energy again. But in love, this is going to be a big moment of truth as well. You looking at where you've been, what you've walked, how people have been with you, what your responsibility has been, and also what it hasn't been over the course of this time. You may come to these understandings through new people that you might interact with, but I think for the most part, it's about bringing resolution to whatever was before. For those of you open to meeting someone new, there could be somebody who comes in now, and it looks like there's intensity there, or there's resistance there for you. And you get to decide what you're going to do about it, how you're going to navigate that. Now, ultimately, it's always up to you, but I think that where you feel a pull, it's going to be undeniable. And for the last few years, you've wanted something that really feels authentic, that you can feel deep within. What does that actually mean? And is that working for you, that approach? You're going to have some new insights at this time. For those of you just starting to date someone, remarkable energies at play in the context of dating. You're looking at whether or not this person is partnership material. And I think you're going to find some answers. You're going to look at what is the nature of attraction, and especially for you and for them, what is it that draws the two of you together? How real do you feel this is? How balanced do you feel this is or not? That is going to be more further revealed. Now, ultimately, and especially once it is that Pluto changes signs, you want something that you can feel very deep within, right into your bones. And if that's here, you're going to likely be all in. But if that isn't, it likely is no longer going to interest you. And for those of you in an established bond, well, the overwhelming majority are going to find themselves having a big exhale, feeling like the relationship starts to feel easier, feels lighter in some ways. But there is going to be a percentage, especially if you felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you, where you're going to see certain dynamics and figure out what that means, what that says about you, and whether or not it's worth navigating forward with this person. Your answers are going to be uniquely your own, but if the period since 2008 has shown you anything, it is what you will do for love, but also what you won't do for love. And now it's like you're at this moment, a precipice, if you will, where you get to make a choice. What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? And is that going to mean the end of this or what? Your answers are going to be uniquely your own, but they will likely feel a lot more clear. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It is a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I don't know if I mentioned the start of the month with that new moon. If you are getting your flirt on, you could connect with someone with real long-term potential. But remember, we've got that really intense wrapping up energy of Pluto. And that means that with every beginning, there might be a sense of you having to feel, address, let go, release things that hurt you in the past. And that can be part of the liberation, the positive energy of this time. But for all that, that new moon, heart-centered, stable, is pretty powerful, whether it's in love or in other ways. It is about you manifesting more of what you love in every area of life. And where the opportunity presents itself, chances are the benefits will last for a very long time to come. Thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month. With choose your membership rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.